6 feet away from the International Space Station. This fly around is continuing with STS-132 pilot Tony Antonelli at the controls. There you can see the Progress 37 that is currently docked with the Piers docking compartment. At the very back toward the lower center part of your screen, you can see the Soyuz TMA-17. And then there on the right is the brand new Rosvet module, which is now attached to Zarya. That, of course, came up with Atlantis during this mission, and the crew installed it as they were docked with the International Space Station. And there you can see the entire International Space Station complex there. If you look at the top, Atlantis currently casting a shadow on the solar arrays.
Here we are on the flight deck of Atlantis again with the entire STS-132 crew. And we have undocked from International Space Station yesterday, spent the day inspecting Atlantis's thermal protection system, and we didn't see anything wrong at all, which is no surprise. And tomorrow we're going to pack up the ship to come home to Florida the next day. I'm going to hand the mic to Atlantis's pilot, Captain Select Tony Antonelli.
Thanks, Hawk. Atlantis is just a fabulous ship. She was a fabulous ship in the beginning and continues to be just absolutely amazing. If this ends up being Space Shuttle Atlantis' last flight, we've got an American flag here that we're honored to fly. This American flag flew on Atlantis' first flight, STS-51J, and I'll hand the mic over to Navy Captain Steve Bowen.
It's a real honor to be among the 191 crew members that have flown on Atlantis in her over 300 days in orbit, 120 million miles. Atlantis is actually named after a ship of research and discovery from a place I happen to study, Woods Hole Oceanographic Institute, and she has definitely lived up to her name over the past 20 years or so. Now to Piers Sellers, who has done his own sets of research.
Atlantis is absolutely my favorite shuttle. I've only flown on two, but she's still my favorite. I hope that when she lands successfully, which I'm relying on these guys up front to do, that she goes somewhere and gets the respect she deserves as a ship of exploration. People like to visit ships like the Constellation, the Constitution, see where they've been and what they've done, and Atlantis is one of that line.
I'm Garrett Reisman, mission specialist on this flight, and when I was selected as an astronaut back in 1998, there were 4 of us in our class that were living in the Southern California area, and we got together to visit Atlantis. We were invited to come up while she was in for overhaul in Palmdale. And when the 4 of us got together, one of the other astronauts was also Tracy Caldwell, who was just with us on the space station. So we were reminiscing about this just the other night. And we got together, saw Atlantis, and we all got so very excited about what we were about to do, becoming astronauts. And seeing the tender, loving care that she was given there in Palmdale by all the people that worked on her, it was hard to believe that here I would be some 10 years later, flying on what could be her last flight. But she's been an amazing ship, and it's an honor to have served upon her. And here is Air Force Colonel Retired Mike Good.
Thanks, Garrett. I've been lucky enough to have 2 shuttle flights, both of them on Atlantis, so it's also my favorite space shuttle. Atlantis has been on 32 flights now. We're on the number 32, and perhaps the final flight of Atlantis. She's been to many different destinations. I was lucky enough to go to both the Hubble Space Telescope and to the space station. She's also been to Mir and many other different places, so she's well traveled, and she's served many of us well, and we look forward to bringing her home safe and going to visit her someday on the ground. So from the entire crew, from STS-132, thanks to Atlantis and all the folks that have worked on her over the years.
Space Shuttle Atlantis now in its final moments of flight. 5.5 minutes to go till touchdown.
Atlantis, you are on energy, approaching the hack, no changes to winds or weather. You'll be nominal shoot deploy.
Copy, no changes, nominal shoot.
Good read back.
This is a view from the heads-up display. This is exactly what the crew is seeing at this point in time. Atlantis' current speed 653 miles per hour. Its altitude 9 miles. Its range to the Kennedy Space Center now 30 miles. Pilot Tony Antonelli now taking control of the stick for a few minutes, steering Atlantis around this heading alignment circle. This is a right overhead turn of 320 degrees. This will set up the shuttle for its final approach and landing there on runway 33. Now just 3 minutes to go. The shuttle's traveling 547 miles per hour. Its altitude 6 miles.
And Houston, Atlantis, field in sight.
Yeah, good luck with that one.
Now the commander, Ken Ham, now taking control of the shuttle.
You're on at the 180.
Copy, on at the 180. It's a beautiful day.
Absolutely.
2.5 more minutes to go in Atlantis' flight. There you see the Florida coast coming into view. The shuttle continuing to turn to the right and line up with runway 33 at the Kennedy Space Center. Commander Ken Ham continuing to finish up this heading alignment circle turn.
Atlantis, you are on at the 90.
Copy, on at the 90.
In just a few seconds, the shuttle's crew will get their first view at the Kennedy Space Center. Atlantis now traveling 400 miles per hour.
And Houston, now the left side of the cockpit has the runway in sight.
Copy that, Hawk. Field in sight.
Once again, this is the heads-up display that Commander Ken Ham is taking a look at as he pilots Atlantis down toward this runway. Space Shuttle Atlantis now traveling 389 miles per hour. It is now on final approach to the Kennedy Space Center. During this point in the flight, the shuttle's descent rate is 20 times steeper than a commercial airliner. Its angle of attack more than 7 times steeper. Now under 1 minute to go in Atlantis' flight. Atlantis now beginning what is known as the pre-flare maneuver. It will pull the nose up a little bit right before it hits the runway. Its speed now 320 miles per hour. The gear is down and locked. Main gear touchdown. Atlantis' nose being now rotated down toward the runway. The chute being deployed. And nose gear touchdown. Space Shuttle Atlantis now comes home to the Kennedy Space Center for the final time. 25 years, 32 flights, and more than 120 million miles traveled. The legacy of Atlantis now in the history books.
wheel stop Atlantis. Sock, that landing was something that your Air Force crewmates should have really been proud of. That